Hey, it's Debbie Potts, and I did a four-part, really long series going over what I do as a holistic health practitioner, a health detective, to help put the missing pieces of your health puzzle together to create your personalized future you blueprint. But I use myself as a case study. So today I just wanted to give you the shortened version, just an overview of what I did doing the GI map and looking at my me screen mitochondria test I did earlier this year. And I've done 3 blood chemistry panels this year, maybe 4. So I'm putting that in together into a functional analysis as we do as FDN practitioners and look at what's going on under the hood. Because as I say, you need to test and not guess. We just don't know what's going on. We don't know what we don't know. So have you ever reached a point in your own health or performance where you thought, something is just not adding up? You're eating clean, you're training hard, you're doing all the right things, but your body just says, no, I'm not responding. Your metabolism slowing down, your run feels harder, your energy is just going down, your body composition is changing. What about your recovery? Just takes a little longer to bounce back from those workouts. How about your skin changing and your hormones are going sideways? Now, this is what's been happening to me. After 30 plus years in the health, fitness, wellness space, I qualified for Boston Marathon 5 times. I competed in Ironman Hawaii, Kona many times, and I've coached hundreds of people that are high performers as myself. I shared my story in my book called Life is Not a Race, It is a Journey. When I hit burnout and break down my body systems in 2013. I've done so many things to get myself better, even moved from Seattle to North San Diego. And I recently started paying attention. My body's giving me some red flags. I haven't really seen the improvements I want to on my running. So I decided to do some new tests on myself after I did this mitochondria test and did podcast with Me Screen, MESREEN, out of San Diego. And it completely changed my insight of what was actually going on at a cellular level. As I talk about in the show all the time, to be fit and healthy from the inside out at a cellular level. And Me Screen test really gave me awareness that I am not as good as I could be. I feel pretty good. My running's never gotten back to what it used to be back when I used to qualify for Boston Marathon and PR and races. But you know what? I am not blaming my aging process. I'm not saying, oh, it's because I'm getting older, because this has been happening. My running, for example, is how I test my performance, recovery, and repair since 2015. I've never gotten myself back because I damaged myself at a mitochondria cellular level. So I did some investigation and I've been sharing my entire case study in a long there are 4 phases that I go through in 2 different long podcasts, but I wanted to give you a little short overview today because this is why I want you to take ownership of your health today. And we must test and not guess to understand what is keeping you stuck, frustrated, or wasting time. I wasn't sick, I'm not injured, but my performance and energy has never really bounced back. My running just has never gotten better. My bike is great, but my recovery is slower. Skin issues, my sleep has been pretty good, but my metabolism and my muscle gain for all that I do just didn't seem that it is as good as it could be. And again, these are not normal aging signs. It's not because I'm perimenopause, I'm 54 years old, that this is going to happen. I researched my under the hood, what's going on, and I am getting stress physiology signs and symptoms, mitochondria, and gut signs. So looking at a GI map, going back to that mitochondria test I did earlier this year, and then I pulled together my DNA company genetics, strategy genetics, And my Wild Health Clarity Report that I've been working with the Dr. Megan Jones, we did a whole podcast on my results the last 2 years. So I'm using my holistic method programming, putting this all together for myself. What did I find out? You can listen to the audio podcast. Number one clue, low butyrate, which actually means low ATP. My GI map showed almost no butyrate producing bacteria, as Akkermansia, Bacillobacterium was low, and Firmicutes was low. Why does this matter? Because butyrate is a fuel for your mitochondria. The more butyrate we have, more ATP we have. Less butyrate, less energy. So this explained my running felt harder, why I would get tired earlier, and my intervals when I do speed work were never improving. It wasn't, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, working at peak fat max, doing my sprint intervals, 20, 30 seconds, and I've never been improving. It's just not going anywhere. But again, it's not because I'm getting older. Here's clue number 2. On my GI map, I had a marker that showed that I had poor fat absorption. My steatocrat was 33%, and it should be under 15%. This means I'm not absorbing the fat I'm eating. I wasn't absorbing fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2. I'm not absorbing omega-3s and absorbing cholesterol that is needed to make your hormones. So this explains, when I looked at my signs and symptoms and do my own nutritional therapy assessment, drier skin, slower hormone response, reduced fat oxidation during training, and difficulty losing body fat, and reduce long-run metabolic efficiency. When you cannot process fats, you cannot burn fat. Next, I had clue number 3, sluggish bile and high bilirubin marker on my blood chemistry panels lately. My bilirubin was elevated. This is a big clue for bile flow stagnation. Bile is essential for clearing estrogen, for fat digestion, fat soluble absorption. Seeing any patterns here? Mitochondria membranes, detoxification, gut motility. If we don't have bile, we can't burn fat either. And here's clue number 4. H. pylori is still up, which means a big clue, low stomach acid. Even mild H. pylori infection will suppress stomach acid enough to impair my protein digestion. As I'm so focused on hitting my protein goals, big problem when you can't break it down to amino acids. More reasons to take my body health perfect aminos. Mineral absorption, B12 absorption, and bile release are all impacted with low stomach acid. My muscles were not getting the raw materials that they need. Clue number 5, I've elevated Enterobacter bacteria on my GI map. That's a clue for high lipopolysaccharide, which I've done episodes on, LPS. Enterobacter is a major LPS producer. What is LPS? Listen to my podcast, but lipopolysaccharides, they're endotoxins from the bacteria cell walls. And when LPS leaks into the bloodstream, if we have gut wall lining that has holes in it, those leaks, the bacteria seeps through those endotoxins. So when LPS leaks into the bloodstream, it can cause insulin resistance, inflammation, higher cortisol, metabolic slowdown, poor fat oxidation, mitochondria fragmentation. And this explained a lot of my differences on my fat loss issues and training feeling harder. Now, genetics. I did a big, huge genetic report, combined everything together, see what my SNPs are. Remember, lifestyle matters, epigenetics. But I always wondered why I got adrenal exhaustion in 2013 when other people I knew were racing Ironmans and doing all these events and they were fine. But I carry genetic variants that increase inflammation, that reduce my omega-3 conversion, impair bile production, slow methylation, increase stress sensitivity, increase my insulin resistant risk, impair fat handling, reduce nitric oxide. So you think I'd be a disaster if I didn't do what I do to take care of myself. So when you put all these genetic SNPs together, my physiology becomes a little more predictable. I'm more sensitive to stress than others. LPS, low butyrate, poor bile flow, high fat diets under stress, and oxidative damage. So my FutureYou blueprint requires genetically more mitochondria support, nervous system regulation, bile flow optimization, targeted gut repair, omega-3 fatty acids, prioritizing strength training, and regulating my cortisol. Now, combining that information, all these clues, remember I'm investigating, collecting clues, data to put my puzzle together. This me screen test I did earlier this year, I just emailed this report to the doctor behind me screen, Dr. Patel, and I said, this is crazy. Fascinating how I can put all this together. This test is what changed everything for me. The me screen score earlier this year told me that reactive oxygen species lipid support scored 20 percentile. I thought I was fit and healthy and doing well, but I could do better. This test told me my mitochondrial membranes are stressed, my electron transport chain is leaky, my body's producing more reactive oxygen species under load, excessive amounts, and my mitochondrial network loses efficiency under stress. And I default to glycolysis, probably when I'm running. So this explains why my bike riding feels easy, I feel strong and powerful, but running feels so much harder because running requires a more eccentric load, more mitochondria per muscle fiber, more fat oxidation, and more oxygen delivery. So if your mitochondrial membranes are compromised, running exposes those weaknesses for me, those areas of opportunity, and explains why fat loss has become difficult for me. It's not because I'm perimenopause. I take estrogen patch. I have that on a little sticker on my body twice a week. I change it. I take progesterone a few weeks a month, 2 weeks a month, and I take thyroid T3. That doesn't make a big difference for me because that was not my problem. It's my cell membrane. I need more support. So why fat loss became difficult? I'm not able to blame it on my age. I'm not able to blame it on my hormones alone. You cannot burn fat if your mitochondria cannot oxidize fats efficiently. And this is what this case study that I'm sharing for you helps understand the truth. You cannot out-train poor digestion. You cannot out-diet mitochondria dysfunction. You cannot out-supplement high cortisol, and you cannot out-mindset LPS-driven inflammation. And you cannot guess your way to metabolic health. My case study is not about me. It's about the message I'm trying to get across on this platform. You do not know what you don't know unless you test. Symptoms are clues, not your problem. Lab data reveals patterns, not diagnosis. Your genetics explain your vulnerabilities, and your mitochondria control your aging rate. Your gut controls your metabolism. And this is why I built the FutureYou Blueprint program, because nobody should have to guess. Nobody should have to feel stuck. And no one should accept aging as the reason they are declining. I truly believe you can thrive, we can rebuild you, and we can redesign your physiology, and you can become the strongest version of yourself in the future. So if you're listening and you're thinking, this is me, this is what I need, head to debbiepotts.net, schedule a discovery call, or just shoot me an email, coachdebbiepotts@icloud.com. Let's review your symptoms, your goals, look at your timeline. We can create your own personalized investigation plan so we can uncover your hidden healing opportunities and build your future self, the FutureYou blueprint for you. So remember, aging is not inevitable. Decline is not. Choose your future you starting today. Thank you for taking ownership of your health and being curious enough to listen to this whole thing What can you do today to be your best self in the future? Let's get you started. Thank you for listening.